It's Fernando Ruiz art.
There we go.
Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. And this video is gonna be a special one because I am going to totally indulge here. And when I say indulge, I'm gonna draw one of my favorite characters. I'm not gonna tell you who it is. We're gonna see if you can guess who this character is and how long it'll take you to guess who this character is. And you can see, hopefully as they go along, you'll pick up a few drawing pointers. And you can see I'm starting, as always, with some very basic shapes, albeit in this case, given who this character is, these shapes are going to be a little unusual. They're going to be shaped a little differently. Actually, I don't know why I'm keeping this such a mystery. It'll probably say, I'll probably have to say in the title who this is. So, this is going to be Krypto the Superdog. Yep, and I'm dead serious when I say Krypto is one of my favorites. People who know me personally, and certainly my students, will probably know, and I've probably gone on and on about it in class. But Superman is always been my favorite comic book character. It's always been probably one of my favorite fictional characters is Superman. One of my favorite comic book characters from way back when I was a kid. And for me, the entry drug to Superman was Superboy. Now, when I was a kid, growing up in the 70s, there was a fair amount of Superman available to us because the old George Reeves show was very often rerun when I was a kid. The Super Friends were still being first run on Saturday mornings, so there was that. And then we also had reruns of the old Filmation cartoons. Now, Filmation in the 1960s did a lot of cartoons of different DC characters. Superman, Batman, Aquaman even, a lot of the more obscure ones. And they actually had a whole show devoted to Superboy. And this wasn't none of that clone stuff that's going around now or whatever the hell Superboy is these days. Superman's son, I guess, I don't know. This was the Superboy I grew up with, was Superman himself as a teenager. And me being a kid, and a kid who liked dogs, one of the things that really hooked me about Superboy is he had a dog. He had a super dog, Krypto the Superdog. And I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world for a kid to have a flying, superpowered dog. The good thing about the Filmation cartoon is they showed Krypto a lot. And to my disappointment, when I picked up the Superboy comic book, Krypto wasn't in every issue as I would have expected from the cartoon. A lot of times in the comic, they would kind of write Krypto off by saying he was romping off in outer space, which always disappointed me because in the Filmation cartoons, Krypto was Superboy's perpetual partner. And in one of my favorite titles, The New Adventures of Superboy from the very early 80s, Krypto actually had his own occasional backup feature, which was a lot of fun. Now, dogs, just to get back to drawing for a second, dogs are not easy to draw. At least I don't have an easy time with them. And one of the things that's tricky about dogs are their crooked legs. So as always, we simplify. And we take what could be complicated, like these legs, and we break them down into shapes, basic shapes. So I guess there's still a Krypto out there in the comics somewhere. And I know he had his own cartoon. Not really sure what his story is in the comics. In the comics that I grew up with, Krypto had been Superman's dog when Superman was a baby on Krypton. And Superman's dad, Jor-El, he was experimenting with his spaceships. This was when he was trying to build one to send his son Kal-El to Earth to save him from the impending doom of Krypton. The planet was going to explode, and only Jor-El knew about it. But Jor-El didn't test drive the rocket on his own kid. He actually launched it with Krypto as a puppy. And then, wouldn't you know it, he had intended to launch the rocket and remote control, give it an orbit, then bring it back to Earth, or to Krypton. And wouldn't you know it, a meteor hit that rocket and blew it out into space. Years later, that rocket made its way to Earth, crash landing, conveniently enough, right outside Smallville, where he was found by Superboy, and he was reunited with his old master. Now, and they had all these adventures together. Initially, Krypto was kind of a pest to Superboy because Superboy had a hard time controlling his superpowered pup. But he became his best friend. And that's certainly the sort of thing that would appeal to a kid 10, 11 years old reading these comics back then. So, now, a pet peeve of mine is whenever anyone chintzes out on the S shield on the back of the cape. The whole Superman family has an S shield, and that includes Krypto. The yellow S shield. Turning it upside down just to make sure I've got the S. Not too bad for an upside down S. Okay, so there we go. We have Krypto the Superdog. So I know I kind of waxed nostalgic a lot with this video, and this is certainly not a character anybody was asking for, but I just felt like drawing them. And this is my channel, damn it. So I drew Krypto. I hope you guys got a little something out of how to draw animals and animal shapes. Really, I'm always fond of saying in all my drawing classes, all drawing is the same. Whether you're drawing people, whether you're drawing animals, cartoons, or realistic things, all drawing is the same. Whatever it is that you want to draw, it's all approached the same way. It's deconstructed into basic shapes. You start with forms, and then you refine it. You detail it. You shape it to what you want it to be. So, Krypto, I drew Krypto pretty much like I would draw any figure. I just broke him down into different shapes. And that's really what it takes. It's just kind of whatever it is that you're drawing, observe it long enough so that you know what shapes that thing is, what shapes compose that thing. Okay, so that is Krypto the Superdog. I hope you guys enjoy this one. This, as I said, it was an indulgence. Thanks for putting up with me on this one. Thanks for putting up with me talking about my old memories of crypto. If you like this, please let me know. If you never want me to do this again, please let me know that too. If you really like this, please click like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. So, and never be shy about sharing. That's how we spread the word about the channel, folks. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll keep drawing. Bye-bye, everybody.